Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Theo Sketchbook, my sketchbook. You're gonna see me draw stuff. It might not be complete, but it's gonna be something. Um, oh my god, hold on. It's doing this shit again. There we go. So I want to talk about Kill la Kill. I've been rewatching that show. I've been rewatching it the past few weeks because I heard it was going to leave Netflix. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it again just to see if I still like the show as it is. Because I remember I watched it the first time and I thought it was good. I just didn't think that it was one of Trigger's best shows that they made. So I'm watching it again. I watched it again, and I still feel the same way. My opinion is still mostly the same for the most part. The only difference I would say is I think I enjoyed the middle arcs a little bit more, dealing with the raid trip and um, that battle royale that they had. That I kind of liked a little bit more than the first time. The first time I liked the battle royale a lot, but I didn't really care for the raid trip. I thought the raid trip was a little too boring and too long and played out, and I was like, I kind of want to move on. But I think my opinion of that changed significantly since when I was rewatching it because I had fun with the dynamic that the show was kind of portraying. Like, it showed a lot of stuff that was kind of funny with Mako and Gamagori and the school and just Ryuko trying to get her Sankets remade. So I liked a lot of the stuff that it offered because it did have a lot of plot progression, which I didn't remember when I first watched it. And I always like rewatching shows. I always think it's much better to rewatch a show once you've seen at least once, so that you can get a better understanding. Now, I only watched. Usually, when I rewatch that show, I only rewatch like episode 21, episode 3, 21 through 25, or 24, depending on the circumstance. But I wanted to rewatch the show in its entirety, except for episode 4. Because episode 4, I just know that's like that one is when they wanted to switch animation studios temporarily just to animate differently. Trigger tends to do that with a lot of their shows. I don't think they did it with Little Witch Academia, which is somewhat surprising, in my opinion, because I think I think they wanted to keep it consistent with Little Witch Academia because it was going to be on Netflix, and I guess they didn't want to do anything weird like that on Netflix. I don't know, but it's still solid. It's still a solid episode. I just don't really like the story of episode 4. So I just skipped that one just to watch the best episodes. And I said this on Twitter about episode 1 and 2. I thought those were like really boring episodes at first because a lot of it is setting up the world. Like, it's world building, it's setting up the characters. But I had fun watching it. I think it had a very good pace to them. They had a lot of good jokes in there. I like that it was kind of grounded in some ways with Ryuko. Like, Ryuko wasn't just a badass necessarily in the first 2 episodes. Like, she had to work really hard to get her wins. And I think that's where like the show kind of builds momentum because it starts feeling like, okay, this character is gonna like grow over time. And by the Battle Royale arc, where they're like fighting, that's kind of where Ryuko becomes like a badass and she just starts kicking ass. Yeah, she gets bodied by Harime a little bit, but for the most part, it is just yeah, it's bodied by Harime, but like it's still like she's still a badass. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. But it's still a fun like a few episodes, and I think it had a nice heart to it, and that's what I've noticed when I was rewatching it. Kill la Kill has a lot of heart and charm to it. It's not just a soulless we're an anime, and I think it plays with fan service as kind of a joke and commentary on a lot of animes, which is a little deep, which is kind of dumb for a show like Kill la Kill, but I think that's kind of the joke as well. Like, Kill la Kill has a lot of deep jokes with its with the material it is, which is surprising. Like, that's what I like about Trigger a lot, and I think Kill la Kill embodies a lot of stuff that people love about that studio. Is that it's very charming with the humor and the comedy that it portrays. So I do like that a lot, and I think it makes it more endearing and more engaging. And I kind of wish more anime was like that. However, I started watching a little bit of Darling in the Franxx, and I can't get into that show. And I think most of it is because of A1. I don't really like A1's animation. You could kind of tell which was animated by Trigger, what was animated by A1. And it's a pretty bad disparity between those two. But it's not bad. But I don't know, I just couldn't get into that show as much as I would with any other show. Zoom in here a little bit. But it's fun. It's still a fun show. I like the characters. I like the animation. The character designs are really good in Kill la Kill. Like, I like Nono Jukuzare's design. I think she has a very cool design. Same with Satsuki. I got a little more appreciation for Satsuki watching it this time. I like Satsuki as a character always, but I kind of had more of an appreciation this time around, especially when you know the angle that the plot twist by the end. Now, it's an old anime, so I'm gonna spoil it, obviously. Once you find out that, like, Satsuki was actually part of the good guys, you see a lot of hints of that in the main body of work. So I can kind of see why some people might say, well, it's obvious that she flips and she's actually a good person. But I think also does a good job keeping that under its belt as well. I think it's good for just for fun, and I think that's hard to do. A lot of shows kind of blow the load of who's really the good guy in a lot of shows, and it just becomes too predictable. And then when they try to go out of its way to not follow what you would expect, it feels forced. And I think Kill la Kill has a good balance where it's like you can feel that it would change, but at the same time, you could also see it one way or the other. So I do like that about Kill la Kill. And the other thing I want to give credit to Kill la Kill, which not a lot of people give praise for, but I love how they draw their noses. It is so weird, like, how they animate the nose. Like, the way that they draw it. Like, they actually draw, like, this angle of it on the nose. It's very weird. I can't describe it. Like, it's kind of like this. And that's the nose. And it's like, what the fuck? I've never seen anyone draw the nose like that. And I really, really love how unique it is. It really reflects Trigger's craft in animation. And I like their storytelling too. Like, I just love how over the top it is. And I kind of talked about this same thing with Quiet in MGS5, that I understand why people might not like the story. Like, oh well, they just gave Ryuko a reason to be half naked. Yeah, it makes sense in the story, but they could have written anything to make sense. Like, they could have given her full armor and have it make just as much sense as her being half naked. And I get that too. Like, it makes sense why people may not like that, but I think in the tone of that show, it just adds to it. I don't think it's that distracting or that off-putting. I think it kind of aligns very well with what the show offers. Because it's not serious. The show doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like, it knows when to be serious, but it mostly tries to play itself off as a goofy, dumb show, and that's what I like. Like, Trigger doesn't hide behind anything. They're pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, this is dumb. That's the joke, and I like that. I like you don't really see that a lot. A lot of shows try to explain the nonsense in a realistic, grounded way, but Trigger's like, fuck that, we're gonna be goofy, this is goofy, why are you taking this seriously? And I like that. I like that Trigger is very straightforward with what you should be expecting from them. The only complaint I have with episode 20 that kind of stayed true on both watches is I still think episode 20 is terrible. It has a lot of plot devices. Like, yeah, Riko has to get to Honnouji Academy on her own. We have to get her in Junketsu. We have to have that happen. And it just feels forced and dumb. Like, it's a little frustrating. And it's not frustrating in a good way. It's like, yeah, you get invested in it, you get frustrated, but it's frustrating in the sense, like, I feel like that at this point in the story, Ryuko would not just go head on into battle like that. And I know that she had like a huge shock with her finding out that Ragi was her mom, but I still don't think she'd be that reckless. I don't know. It's just a little frustrating, but I can look past that enough because I liked episode 21 so much. But what really got me in episode 20 was the animation. The first half of it is good, it's solid, but then when you see Ryuko fight Harume, I'm probably mispronouncing her name too, but I hated that fight because it's a serious moment. It's a big climactic fight. It's dramatic. There's a lot of drama going on in this fight, and they just stick with the same like recycled frames of animation. And I know someone might say, well, that's Studio Trigger for you. I mean, they're very modest with their budget, but up until that point, Kill la Kill kind of used that budget as a joke, and Trigger always utilizes it very well in a stylistic way. It's not ugly. It's not like obvious. Like, they do it in a way that's either a joke or they work with it. And this episode, it just didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like, okay, we're gonna just play it off as a joke, or we're gonna use it just whatever. It just seems like they literally just couldn't animate a fight, and they couldn't find a way to get around it. And I think that's a little disappointing with what was going on. And I thought at first, when I was rewatching the episode, maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe I'm remembering it negatively or something. But when I watch it again, it's like, yeah, it's still a terrible fight. It's pretty bad, and I can't say it's good. The only thing I liked was, honestly, Satsuki's scenes. Satsuki's scenes were the best part of that episode, and the end of episode 20, where Ryuko in Junketsu arrives to the Naked Soul. That's kind of where the fun kind of stops in that episode. But you get episode 21, which is so good. I love episode 21. It has a lot of energy in it. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of cunning strategy going on. Like, it's like, holy shit, what do we do with Ryuko? She's destroying everything. How can we handle this character? And I really appreciate the level of threat that she posed to them, and how they get around it. And I liked that. I liked the a lot of stuff that was going on with those episodes. And then episode 22, it just got better after episode 20. The show got a lot better. It had a good rise and before 20, then episode 20 was kind of like a little down. And part of me also thought I was a little bitter because when I was watching this when this was like just getting dubbed. So they did episode like 1 through 20. And I had to wait a long time to get 21 through 25 because they were still localizing it. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is where it ended. But it's still pretty bad just because I didn't like that fight scene at all. But we gotta get episode 21 though. Episode 21 was really good. I can't stop singing praise about episode 21. But the other episodes are good too. Like, episode 3 is good. It has that good like clash between Satsuki and Ryuko, where Ryuko starts to understand how to wear her kamui. Then you have episode not 16, 15, I think, where they fight again, and it's more even. It's a more even fight, which I like. I like that you see a progression with Ryuko. However, I like to cite Demolition D's review of Kill la Kill because I think he has a lot of good points in it. Where in Kill la Kill, all of the tension is kind of blown off because everything's explained as, oh, Riko's just awesome. Oh, Riko just demolishes the opponents. And that does happen a lot. And some fights, it's like, yeah, it's a little comedic and it makes sense. But it also gets a little bit frustrating. And I think it's nonstop. It has another issue by the end of the show, where you don't see an escalation of scale or stakes. You know, nothing is lost, nothing is risked in the show. Like Gurren Lagann, you know, it's not a fair comparison, but with Gurren Lagann, like it's goofy in its own way, but you got some scale and risk with it. Like things were won, but at what cost? Like there's a lot of cost involved in it, where there was a lot of stuff that was lost along the way. And Kill la Kill, like it proposes that there's a scale or whatever, but it doesn't do that. It does play it off as a joke with Gamagori, which, you know, I was rewatching, it kind of comes off as like it's a criticism that is fair, but at the same time, the show kind of gets away with it, but it's still like, I wish there was something that escalated the stakes. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, it's funny that you know, it's not, there's no stakes involved pretty much, and I like that too, but it's just something that I kind of wish it did than just play as a joke. Because that joke also got old, because it did it a few times, so it wasn't that one time with Gamagori. But it's not bad with it. It doesn't ruin the show, but it just kind of makes you, like, just think about what could have been, you know? But I like it, and I really hope Trigger pushes on with other shows, because I liked A Little Bit of Academia a lot, which I was surprised with, because I'm not really a huge fan of witches or stuff like that of that show, but I really got into the characters and all that, and I think Trigger does a good job with characterization for most characters. Like, you know, with Kill la Kill, I kept thinking in the back of my head, I would love to see a show or just an episode where it's just Ryuko and Satsuki and Mako just going about their day and shit. Like, it's dumb. It's a dumb little, like, thing, but it's kind of cool to see characters, like, interact with each other that were one way, whatever. I don't know, I like the interactions between, like, Ryuko and Satsuki by the end, with Mako and the Elite Four, like, all the dynamics with those characters. The OVA gets close to that, but it does, I don't know. The OVA is okay as well, where it's the graduation ceremony. I like what it wanted to do, like what it was saying, but I just thought that oh my god, Ray, can't pronounce her name either, isn't that compelling of a villain. Like, they were close to something with her, but I just didn't think that she fully had something that was like, oh, holy shit, she's cool. Like, you know, she blames Satsuki for Ragyo's death, but Satsuki didn't really kill her. It was really Ryuko that killed her, so she should be holding the grudge against Ryuko. And it just kind of felt lazy. Not lazy, but it just kind of felt whatever. The thing I liked the most about the OVA was the amount of jokes about, we didn't have time for this. Like, you know, they had the DTRs for the Elite Four. Well, we made these before, but no one used them because we hated them so much, you know? It's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, oh, the school was actually a mech. Why didn't we use this before? Well, we tried to use it, but Ragyo took over the school, and it made all these jokes that's like, yeah, we couldn't use this because the plot of the show did not allow it, which I liked. I love that kind of humor. It's meta, and it's reasonable. You know, I love it. I love that kind of humor. It really plays off to Trigger's strong suits. And I think it shows a lot with Trigger that it doesn't beat you in the head with fourth wall breaking jokes. Like, with Deadpool, it's cool that he makes those kind of jokes, but it gets old very fast. It's like, okay, we get it, this is a movie. We get it, Deadpool, wow, you know it's a movie. But, in Trigger's shows, like Fooly Cooly, that they worked on, Trigger, Kill la Kill, like those kind of shows, it does it in a nice, smooth way that doesn't feel played out. And I like their sense of humor. They have a very like energetic sense of humor about them. And I like that. I like when shows have energy put into it, and it's not like over the top energy that's like in your face about it. It's an energy that's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, oh, it's very smooth and fun. And it gets you like kind of curious to see what the show's gonna go to, you know. And I like that. I think you know, I like their shows. I think they're doing another show, but I can't remember the name of. But once that gets localized, I'll definitely be on board to check it out. And maybe I'll finish watching what was it? Darling in the Franxx. Maybe I'll bite the bullet and finish watching it. But I don't know. I haven't really heard a lot about it. I just heard that it's like kind of like a very dumb or silly version of Evangelion. I don't know. It's a very weird thing I keep hearing about that anime. So I don't know. But I like the design of what's that character's name? Two? Is her name Two? The girl with the pink hair with the thing on her head. I don't know. Her. She's a cool character. I like her design. But I just don't know how I feel about the animation, because the A1 is not that good. Like, I watched Persona 5, that anime, and I just couldn't get past that. A lot of stuff looked kind of lazy, and I don't know, I just don't really like A1 as much. I thought it was like I was falling for the meme of hating A1, but I can't say I'm pleased with their work. So I kind of don't know why Trigger teamed up with them out of all the people they could team up with, but whatever. Maybe it was just a fun project of theirs, like this new anime they're working on. Maybe it was just to do that. So I guess that's okay. Everyone does favors for someone to get what they want done, you know. So I think that's gonna be it for my sketchbook video. I would like to thank all you guys for watching. I know I didn't finish the sketch. Maybe next time. Maybe next time when I do this video, we will finish the sketch. I would like to thank you guys for watching this video. You guys know how to support me if you want to support me. You guys are on the ball, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. But I will say thank you guys for watching. And this was a fun video to make. I love doing these sketchbook videos. Hopefully I'll do another one very soon. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think of Kill la Kill? Do you think it was a good show? Did you like it? Did you hate it? You know, whatever. And whatever you post in the comment section might be featured in the next sketchbook video, maybe. Or just in a comment reply video. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the other videos I have in store for you guys. And have a nice one, everyone. Thank you for watching.